So it's 6 o'clock and we love to get started on time. Today, we've got a really, really exciting session for you. We're talking about practical spirituality from the masters with Ruzbeh Bharucha. He's a devotee of the Sai Baba of Shirdi, and he's one of the most influential spiritual writers of our time. He's also the 110th master for the speaking tree. To tell you a little bit, I was very excited about this session. I know we do a lot of talks on spirituality, but the reason is after we've done all of these talks, you always start to wonder and say, how do I incorporate this in my practical life? And so this was very, very exciting because I know he also does a course on this. So we're it's our great honor and our pleasure that we're getting a glimpse of that in this session. But in this session today, we're going to talk about how to incorporate spirituality in our day-to-day life. We will learn from the masters, especially Sai Baba of Shirdi and Avtar Meher Baba and others, how to navigate life's most difficult moments. And I think some of us, hopefully now that COVID is calming down, are going to find this very, very beneficial as we see a ray of light shining through. A little bit about Ruzbeh. He's been an ardent devotee of Sai Baba and is considered, like I said, one of the most influential spiritual writers of our time. In 2014, he published Rabda, My Sigh, published by Penguin Random House, and it was an instant bestseller. He is the author now of his recently published book, which is Avtar Meher Baba, Twilight Songs, and 20 other books, including the Fakir Trilogy. I'm sure a lot of you have heard of that one. Known as one of the perfect masters, Avtar Meher Baba touched millions of lives and passed away in 1969. Since then, his followers who were blessed to have been under his direct care feel his presence strongly, even until date, and they feel that their lives are incomplete and they are also right now in complete devotion to him. So the Twilight Songs actually covers the journey of many, many of these people that were in direct touch with Meher Baba. I don't think Ruzbeh needs any introduction, but he's also, as many of you may not know, a documentary filmmaker. He has done a yoga, music, and life festival in India. He gave birth to a series of powerful videos that were collated under the name Ramblings with Ruzbeh. His articles are published in the Times of India, the Free Press Journal, the Indian Express, Maharashtra Herald, Sunday Observer, and the Afternoon. So first of all, Ruzbeh, a very, very warm welcome to Sipping Thoughts. So excited to have you here. Ruzbeh, your voice, you're muted.
Thank you for having me over. It's a privilege to be on this podium with you. And very humbled that you thought of me.
No, we're very excited. And I think as the session goes, the first thing is this is about practical spirituality.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask you the first question. What is practical spirituality?
Now, I want to ask you, what do you think is spirituality?
Wow, tough question, guys. I need some help on this. So I would say when I think of spirituality, it's reaching to peace with yourself, getting maybe to a higher level and a higher plane.
I can be in peace with myself if I have a lot of liquor.
Didn't you start because there was this your spirituality journey? Because please do tell us that story, because that also has to do with liquor. But Muddit says your innate nature is what is spirituality.
I was editing the first Indian magazine on the liquor industry called High Spirits. Okay, and somebody asked me to write a book on spirits, and I thought they were talking about life after death, when in reality they were talking about alcohol. And that is how my journey in the spirit world began. So it's all thanks to liquor. You see, the sages, they considered spirituality. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but we've lost your video.
Just 1 minute, huh? Just 1 minute. Yeah. Okay. Can you see me now?
Yes, perfect.
So the sages, according to the sages, the meaning of spirituality meant being in touch with the spirit within you. We are the spark from the great flame. The creator, who I would like to call the goddess, is akin to a great flame. And from that flame, sparks fly out. And we are individual sparks from that great flame. Spirituality, according to sages, meant when you were in touch with that spark within you. Spirituality, according to the sages, meant I am not this body, I am not this name, I am the eternal spirit within. And when you operated from the eternal spirit within you, you were considered to be a spiritual person. Nowadays, spirituality has got to do with prayers, charity, good deeds. But in ancient times, it meant you were identifying yourself with the spirit within you, with the energy within you, rather than the gross self. That is the meaning of spirituality. And when I teach on practical spirituality, it means how does one remain connected to the goddess, God, guru within you, rather than being connected to the world outside.
And I'm sure when you have that course that you do, how is this is a journey, right? And it's a journey that one does overtake, and it probably takes a long time to actually achieve that balance with, no? So tell us a little bit more.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. It is all important. What is your priority? The day you are sorted with your priority, if your priority is, I am going to operate from the energy within me through the day, I am not going to allow the world to overwhelm me, I am not going to allow the world to suck me in, then automatically you start operating from the spirit within you.
Beautifully said. Now, you're an ardent devotee of Sai Baba of Shirdi. Most of your books are about him, but your latest one is about Avatar Meher Baba. So why did you want to write about him?
See, number one, my first book, The Last Marathon, started with Avatar Meher Baba. Okay. The Perfect Ones, the book that I've written called The Perfect Ones, is on innumerable masters, on avatars, on the goddess energy, on prophets. I believe in the philosophy of oneness. I believe in the philosophy that we all have come from that great source, the Shakti, the goddess. And as Sai Baba and Meher Baba kept saying that you and I are not different, you and I are not different. They would tell all the devotees, all the disciples, that you and I are not different, we are the same. All you have to do is find your real self and you will realize that you and I are one. So for me to write on other masters is just an extension of writing on the oneness family.
Now, we like to talk a lot about masters. Do we need a master to find spirituality?
The real master is within us. But within us is also a lot of clutter. Within us is also a lot of false ego. If an individual were to sit down quietly and meditate and be in touch with the spirit within, I do believe you don't need an external master. But how many of us do really have the discipline and the time to do this? You see, we will sit down for 5 minutes, light an agarbatti, light a diya, quickly chant whatever we have to, and then we rush off into the world. Once we are in the world, we forget the spirit within. We forget who we truly are, and we get sucked into the world. So for me, a master, it's a simple question. If you're going to drive a car, wouldn't you want someone to teach you how to drive it? A master is teaching you how to drive your vehicle. Shows you the roadmap. Shows you how mistakes and accidents can take place. So the master actually makes your life simpler. But do we have to have a master? Not necessary.
My next question, I think a lot of us are grappling with this, because when things don't go our way, when we start to suffer, but we believe in God, we believe in a spiritual guru, but when things are growing well, it's all great, but when they're not, we get put off by a lot of things spiritual and put blame. And this is happening to many in the COVID era. So how do you guide us in this situation?
You know, the problem is the word faith has been misrepresented by us. The real meaning of faith means I will give my best to life and leave the rest to the wisdom of my goddess God Guru. Faith does not mean everything is going to turn out the way I want it to. Faith means everything will turn out the way my master wants it to. And I believe in my master's wisdom. I believe in my goddess God's wisdom. And whatever were to happen to me after I give my best, I will happily leave it at the feet of my master. That is faith. But what do we interpret faith as? I'm saying my prayers. I'm doing everything the holy books have told me to do. I want everything to go my way. That is not faith. That is a business deal. True faith means leaving the final result at the feet of one's master joyously. Those people who have a barter arrangement with their master will get disillusioned, because sometime in life things will not go their way. Sometime in life they are going to face with death of a loved one. They are going to face unemployment. They might face breaking up of a relationship. That kind of faith will leave you disillusioned. That kind of faith is going to break your heart, because it is not faith, it is a ganda, it's a soda. So when you say faith, what do you mean by faith? That I want everything to happen my way, or I want everything to happen your way, the master's way. Once you sort that out, then everything is fine.
Thank you. And with that, I will hand it over to you, because let's get started and understand a little bit more about practical spirituality.
Yeah, actually, I have already started. This is the fundamental pillar of spirituality. True faith. I've got so many phone calls and mails and messages from people saying, Baba has let me down. My young daughter died. I'm suddenly unemployed. I cannot pay the fees of my children. I'm not being able to service my EMI. The very fact that we can think this way, that Baba has let me down, the very fact that we can think this way means we are having a barter arrangement with Baba. So first of all, if you want to walk the path of practical spirituality, the rule number one is, I will give my best. I will give my best 100%, and then leave the rest to the wisdom of my master, my goddess, my God, my guru. That's rule number one of practical spirituality. Now, if you want to be connected with the divinity within you through the day, if you want to walk the spiritual path through the day, this is all about day to day, moment to moment. So the first thing is remembrance. How do we stay in touch with our goddess, God, guru through the day? People go to work, they've got a lot of work, it's very hectic, there is a lot of pressure, there is politics, there's all the crap going on. Yet, how do we stay centered in our own divinity? How do we do it? So number one, involving our goddess, God, guru in the little things in life. A simple thing. Every time you were to eat or drink, every time you are about to put something in your mouth, you remember them, thank them, offer it to them. Can you imagine how many times in a day you would reconnect with them? When you wake up in the morning, you spend 2-3 minutes in prayer to them. After a bath, you again spend just 2-3 minutes remembering them. Before you sleep, you do the same. Every time you eat or drink, you do the same. What are you doing? Basically, what are you doing now? You are reconnecting with the divinity within you. This is a very important point. Because I know a lot of people who will say their prayers, will meditate for a little time in the morning, and then they get overwhelmed by the world. Then they will reconnect with their divinity after 24 hours. That way you are going to get sucked by the world. But just imagine, every time you were to put something in your mouth and you thought of them, every time you are going to drink a glass of water, you thank them. Before leaving the house, you told them, I'm leaving, be with me. When you returned home, you said, thank you for keeping me safe. You will be in constant touch with your goddess, God Guru. That means you will be slowly through the day, be in the state of centeredness. This is very important. Are you understanding what I'm saying, Sukirti?
Yes, I am. I'd like to ask also the audience if they're following along also.
Okay.
We're getting some yeses.
What is the other way of the most important thing that we keep forgetting? Gratitude. I got a call from a friend of mine around 8 months back. He was in a state of serious depression. He was contemplating suicide. The family was contemplating, starting psychiatric medication. He was in a very bad state. And I've known him for around 30 years now, and he called me up and he told me, I'm in a very bad place. I don't know if I'll speak to you again. So I just called to say I love you, and if you don't hear from me, don't think less of me. Keep me in your prayer. And I told him, what's the matter? And he said, no, everything is gone. My job's gone. I feel I'm a loser. I just lost my mother. I don't have the will to live anymore. And I told him that, what are you planning? And he said, I'm planning to kill myself. I said, okay. I said, how long have we known each other? And he said, around 30 odd years. So I told him, for every year that we have known each other, can you give me one day? So all I'm asking from you is 30 days. So he said, what do you want me to do? And I said, nothing. All I want you to do is every day, thrice a day, I want you to sit down and write down all that which you're grateful for. I said, it could be the most simplest of things. Thrice a day, I want you to genuinely write down all that you're grateful for. I said, that's it. I said, after 30 days, you do what you want with yourself. And around the 18th day, he called me up, he abused me, and he said, you've tricked me, but I'm fine now. He said, I didn't realize how much I had in my life to be grateful for. So gratitude is another form of spiritual expression. I have seen those people who are content with their lot, those people who are grateful for the little things in life. They are the ones who are really walking the path of spirituality. So remembrance, gratitude, giving your very best and leaving the rest to the wisdom of the master. According to me, these are the three fundamental pillars of spirituality. Sai Baba, Meher Baba would keep telling people. You see, when Sai Baba of Shirdi and Meher Baba were in the body, they had a lot of people who were against them. A lot of people spoke a lot of crap against them. And they would never really pay attention to it. And somebody, asked them that why don't you set them straight? And they would say, number one, never wrestle with a pig. Never wrestle with a pig. Because the natural habitat of a pig is dirt, is sewage. So never wrestle with a pig. You will get dirty. Second thing they would say is never slander and gossip. It is akin to a pig who thrives on eating its own excreta. Slandering and gossiping is akin to eating one's own excreta. Another very important point of practical spirituality is never react. Always be proactive, do not be reactive. Because if you are going to be reactive, you are going to come forth from the worst side of yourself, not the best version, the worst version. And when you come from calmness, you are going to come from the best version of yourself, the most divine version of yourself. But the problem is we have all become very aggressive. We are a very aggressive community now. Anyone tells us anything, and we bark. We lose all control of our mind and our tongue. You know, many times both the masters have said, when you react, even if you're right, you become wrong. Even if you are right, you become wrong. So, Sukirti, it's very important to understand that spirituality is basic common sense. It's what you and I have been taught by our grandparents and our parents. It's not some esoteric knowledge floating around. Though nowadays people want to make it that way. Spirituality in its layman terms would be coming and operating from the best version of who you are. It is unfortunate that I have to conduct workshops to show you that. Now, many people ask me, how do we remain calm constantly? How do we do it? I've got a mother-in-law, I've got a daughter-in-law, I've got a bad boss, I've got an employee who is doing politics with me. The government of India is driving me up the wall. How do I remain calm? How do I remain calm? Well, you remain calm when you make it your priority. That I shall not stoop down to your level. You remain calm when every few hours you sit down by yourself and focus on your breath for 2 or 5 minutes. What are you doing? You're coming back to your centeredness. You're coming back to the spirit within you. Is it difficult? Of course it is difficult. Is it impossible? No. But what is your priority? What is your priority? Is your priority to come forth from the best version of yourself? Or is your priority to be one up on everybody? Paramahansa Yogananda in Autobiography of a Yogi has written a very beautiful sentence. He says God is simple. Everything else is complex. Somebody has written about atheism. I know atheists who are more spiritual than a lot of religious people. They may not believe in God, but they are decent human beings. And for me, they are the real spiritual people, because for me, being a decent human being is being spiritual. Religion is now preaching duality. Spirituality is about oneness. Spirituality is about oneness. Religion has begun to become about duality. And that is the sad part. I think every night before we go to sleep, if we were to ask ourselves, have I given my best to the day? Have I operated from calmness? Have I operated from my best version? And if the answer comes yes, I think that is good enough. I think that is good enough. So for me, spirituality means looking myself in the eye and asking myself, did you lower yourself to the world, or did you soar with the angels? This, in a nutshell, is practical spirituality. Okay, Sukirti?
Yes, beautifully explained.
Thank you.
So, of course, one question always comes up, and you spoke about this a lot in the Fakir, karmic law. And I think a lot of us also think about this quite much. If everything is preordained, everything is predestined according to karma, then why work? Can we really change our destiny? Can we really make that difference?
See, listen to me. There is something called free will. How is destiny created? How is karma created? You need to know that first. When you're talking about karma, what the freaking hell is karma? Karma is the ramification of my free will. Karma is the ramification of my free will. In the most grossest example, you've gone to a mall, you've used your credit card. When the bill comes, that's your karma. Okay? Are you understanding what I'm saying, Sukriti?
I am, but I would love for you to go deeper, because this is a question that does plague us.
Okay. So let's start off with how is karma created. I believe when we were born first, when the spark left that great flame, there was 100% free will and no karma. Okay? As we started using our free will, karma started to rise. You understanding till now?
Mm-hmm.
Those who are spiritually very evolved, their free will is higher than their karmic quota. Those who are not spiritually evolved, their karmic quota is higher than their free will. Number one, the greatest use of free will is, how does one accept one's karma? Do you understand what I'm saying? Now, let's say something wrong happens to you.
Yeah, I think somebody's getting static. Apologies for that. Go ahead, Ruzbeh.
Let's say something wrong happens to me. I have two options. One is to use my free will in calm acceptance. And one is to use my free will in getting negative, angry, bitter. So when we say we don't have free will, I think we have free will for the most important thing. How to accept our lot. How to accept each moment of our lives. It is very difficult to just generalize and say everything is karmic. I don't think so. I do not think everything is karmic. Certain people have 20% free will, certain people have 10% free will, certain people have 70% free will. It all depends on where the balance is, where the barometer is. The problem is, how do we know where are we on the barometer scale? So my thing is, forget karma. You focus on whatever free will we have. Are you using that properly?
Bhavna is asking, how can we increase our free will? And I'll take that question right now, because as we are talking about it.
So the sages say, Baba, Meher Baba, they all say, there are 3-4 ways to increase our free will by nullifying our karma. One is, the most practical way of doing is by not reacting to situations. Because when you react to a situation, you are creating more karma. When you are detached from a situation, you are breaking the bond with that particular karmic experience. So number one is that. Number two, intense meditation creates certain heat in the body, which cleanses the karmic overload which is there in our vibration. You see, we carry our karma in our aura. So when you meditate, when you pray in an intense manner, you're slowly burning off the karma around you. That is why, there are a lot of sages who say, you want to do yourself a favor, meditate and meditate and meditate.
Nirja is asking lots of questions on this. I'm asking her to unmute if she would like to ask it herself. But she's talking about your previous birth karmas result in your miseries or goodness you get in this life. So your views, please.
I just give you an example. On the 3rd of a particular month, you have gone and splurged your credit card. The bill will come at the end of the month. There is nothing like instant karma, because God has a lot of patience. And he gives us opportunities and opportunities. And when we don't take it, that is the time the ramification comes in. I know so many good people who are suffering so miserably. And I know so many assholes who are really reaping in. Take a look at a political structure and you'll know. I don't believe God is unfair. I would rather not believe in God than believe in an unfair God. The reason I believe in God is because of the laws of karma. If there was an unjust God, an unfair God, I would not believe in God. Then he or she has no right to be called God. Ancient books, take the Ramayana. Sri Ram is a perfect example of karmic cleansing. Lord Vishnu came down as Sri Rama for a lot of karmic cleansing. That's why Sai Baba, when I'm channeling, tells people so often, karma ki bhatti se Sri Ram bhi na bach sake. From the fires of karma, even Lord Rama could not escape.
So true. We'll take some questions. Lots of them
May
are in from it. Yes, please go ahead, Mudit.
Yeah. So I can't. What you're saying makes perfect. I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Mr. Bharucha. My question is, are things predetermined or you determine it? And I have the answer in my own view, which someone has given me, but I'm sharing for you for your wisdom. That you are like a cow or a buffalo tied to a stake. You have limited free will, and beyond certain, you can't exceed it. But this is a twin question. What comes first, chicken or the egg? So over to you, sir.
This is what I said. Sir. When we start off on a journey in life, our first journey in life, okay? That time there is nothing called karma.
But in life, you have to create karma.
No. I am not talking about creating karma. I am talking about when did the genesis of karma start in our journey.
Right. True. It's true.
Right? Now,
yes.
As I start using my free will, I am creating good or not good karma.
Right.
The only question is, when do we have to pay the bill? Or when do we have to reap the benefits? Now, that is something which I have not really understood.
So while creating karma, you pay your bills. It happens maybe earlier or later. But
yes.
But the thing is, yes, sir.
It does not happen at the same time.
Probably depends.
So we carry it forward in another lifetime.
So I will answer your question with my answer, which is, first of all, I never had free will. Ask my parents why they, gave me birth. That's number one.
So you didn't have free will in this lifetime.
Right.
You need to understand that. You are talking about your this lifetime. I am talking about the genesis of karma. If you want to understand karma in this lifetime, you have to understand where did it all begin. In this lifetime, you and I are predetermined by our karmic ramifications. That's why we have an horoscope. That is why we have a patri.
Well, that depends whether you believe in previous life or not, but I'll leave it at that. The other thing is, we are born in an ecosystem. A person living in India versus a person living, say, in Saudi Arabia or America will have different responses to situations.
Listen to me.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
If you were to tell me that you don't believe in previous life, then basically what you're telling me is that you believe in an unjust God, because look at the dying children on the road. I mean, are you trying to tell me we are dealing with an unjust God? Then I would rather not believe in God. I would just say, you know what, this is all a fluke of nature. We are born, and depending on what our surroundings are, we thrive on that or we suffer because of that. So karma is a very complex animal. It's a very complex animal. That is why all the sages have talked about karma. You call it from Sai Baba of Shirdi, or you call it from Lord Vishnu, you go to Skanda Purana, you go to the Bhagavad, we are all talking about karma. But we need to understand we have one free will. We may not have any other free will, but we have that one free will, how to go through our lot. And that's a very important free will that even God cannot take from us.
Ruzbeh, coming back to that question, and Bhavna is asking, because if it is that we have that free will, how do we increase our free will? I think you just told us about meditation, remaining calm, not reacting. What are other ways that we can increase our free will?
See, listen to me. It's a simple thing. When you say free will, what do you mean? Do you mean you're no longer in the clutches of your karma? Is that what you mean? Bhavna, what do you mean by free will?
I will ask her to unmute because that'll be Bhavna.
In the same context, I have something to add, a question.
Sure, please.
So when you talk about free will, in my understanding, my free will is that every day I get up with the renewed determination to to go out to my business and try to do something, and not give in to my failure and not be depressed. That's what my free will is, right?
Ashish, that's exactly what I'm trying to tell you.
So, but my question in the same context was that, so I had actually typed a question in the chat box, and my question was that how does one fight a string of bad luck? Baba would bless when he was alive and bring people out of misery, I use my free will every day and I continue to strive forward, but yet I am not getting the breakthroughs that I think I should be getting. So how does one deal with that?
Okay, Ashish, let me tell you one thing. You see, the unfortunate part of certain holy books is they're focused on miracles. But if you read the Sat Charitra very carefully, time and again Baba has said, eventually your karma will dictate what you're going through. I'll give you an example. It's in the Sat Charitra. So I'll give you an example of the Sat Charitra. So there was this man who had a very good job. And for whatever reason, he left the job thinking he'll get a better job. Now this man, for the next 11 years, did not get a job. His family life started suffering. He got into a depression. Now imagine this man every year would go to Shirdi and stay with Baba for 2 months. Okay? You need to understand this. Sai Baba of Shirdi was there in the body. This man would go and stay with Sai Baba in Shirdi for 2 months. But yet he never got a job. Eventually he tried to commit suicide. He got saved, which is another story. And a while later, he got into astrology and became a very, very big astrologer. The question to ask is this. Sai Baba of Shirdi was in the body. This man used to go and live in Shirdi and meet Baba 5 times a day. He was without a job for that many years. Please understand, if you read the Sat Charitra properly, Baba time and again says, we all have to go through a karmic ramification. Unfortunately, we are only focused on the miracles of Baba. We tend to forget these little lines that are there. My free will is to go through whatever is in store for me after I give my 100%, to go through it calmly and with dignity. That is what will make Baba happy and proud. That's the only free will I have, Ashish.
Yeah.
That's the only free will you have. We don't know what our karmic bags are. But I do know one thing. In my hand, I can go through it calmly, or I can make a fucking nuisance of myself. That's it. And if you ask me what free will do we have, I think this is the real free will that we have. How do we pick ourselves up? I know life can be difficult. I know that. But what do? We do not know our Akashic records. We do not know our balance sheet.
Amita, you had a question. Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, Sukriti. Yes, thank you. Ruzbeh sir, well, I have a question.
Yeah.
We're talking about the free will. Even if it is with our free will, how does karma work in any of the situations that we have in our free will?
See,
How are the
listen,
two connected? Or how
listen.
could karma help in all of these?
See, when you talk about karma, you know, we have started taking karma as an enemy. Okay. So we have to go back. We have to go back to what is the priority of our highest self? The priority of the highest self is to re-merge with the goddess God good. Okay, that is what all the masters say. All the masters say that when you come to me, what is my real dharma towards you is for you to evolve to a level where you can merge back to your creator. Okay? We are talking about the spiritual highest self. We are not talking about our worldly life. I'm talking about the spiritual highest self.
But doesn't karma control all of these?
I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you. I'm coming to you.
Sure. Thank you.
They say till you do not rise beyond your karma, you and I will always have to come back. Okay? The problem in coming back is 9 out of 10 times we are creating more karma. Because when we come back, we are going to use our whatever free will we have into creating something good or not good.
Okay.
If you notice, there are certain masters who go away to the Himalayas and do not interact with the people. One of the reasons is they know that if they interact with people, there is going to be again an exchange of karma. So what I'm trying to tell you is, in spirituality, when we talk about karma, we are talking about an unknown force which dictates a lot that is going on in our lives. We do not have control of this unknown force. We don't have control over this unknown force. The only control we have is of our free will that we can muster into our life. So that is why I always tell people, we can't do much about our karma. What we can do is how we are going about our day-to-day life. That we can do. The more we give importance to this unknown force, the less power we are going to give ourselves. We need to take that power back by saying, I have my free will, I will utilize it properly. Whatever free will we may have. I know many people who are being thrashed in life very badly. They don't deserve it because they are nice people. They are close to me. I do not know the whys of it. I don't know your past lifetimes. Sometimes, you know, Sai Baba, Meher Baba, they had a great regard for lepers. They would wash their feet. Sai Baba's main person, Bhagoji, was a leper who used to serve him. Meher Baba would wash the feet of lepers, put his head on at their stumps. So they were asked why. And they said, they have decided to finish off their entire karmic baggage, which people would take lifetimes to shed off. They have decided to shed it off in one lifetime. They are not sinners. All that they have decided to do is, instead of going through 20 lifetimes of karmic cleansing, they have decided to cleanse themselves in one lifetime. So we do not know what decisions have happened and why they have happened. All we have in our control is our free will. Either to become bitter, negative, depressed, play the victim, or tell yourself, it's okay, Baba knows best, I will give my best. I don't think we have really anything else in our hand. I know so many people who are praying constantly, but yet suffering.
So we're getting a question from Nirja, I think about Meher Baba. He had decided to go on a silence.
Yeah.
Right? He had gone on mourn. Can you talk a little bit about that? And the second question I want to ask you, because Baba adhered to no religion. Some people felt he was Muslim, he could have been Hindu, but yet he still spoke about karma. And he respected all faiths and he preached harmony and brotherhood. How can that happen today? Because I'm also conflicted in that, because I thought when we talk about karma, it's a very Hindu kind of philosophy.
Really?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you the question. And that's why I put it there that I thought it was.
So what you are trying to tell me is Lord Shiva is a Hindu?
That is what we assume, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Zoroastrianism is 2,700 years before Christ. We have karma then. Karma is beyond religion. So first, let me start with Meher Baba.
Yes, please, because a lot of people are asking, please do tell more about Meher Baba.
Avatar Meher Baba took Samadhi in 1969. For the last 44 years of his life, he did not speak. When people asked him, why aren't you speaking? He said, I have come many, many times as various prophets and masters. I have spoken all I wanted to speak. You people are not even doing what was told earlier. He emphasized on 3-4 things. He said, if you're following me, I want 2-3 things from you. One is pure love. I want you to love me. That is very important. Second, complete surrender, which means understand that I know what is best for you and live in that. And third thing, he said, I'm not here to perform miracles. Though many people experience miracles, he would always say, no, I don't perform miracles. Why? He said, we all have come with our karmic baggage and we need to experience that. Avatar Meher Baba used to go to Babajan, another phenomenal perfect master in Pune. And she had kissed him over here when he was a young boy. And that initiated his spiritual revolution. And she had once told him that I can give you everything, but I cannot give you that one thing that you're looking for, which is spiritual power. That only Sai Baba of Shirdi can give you. So she sent him to Sai Baba of Shirdi, and they just had one glance into each other's eyes, where both Meher Baba and Sai Baba said Parvadigar to each other. Tajuddin Baba, Narayan Maharaj, and Upasni Maharaj were the other three perfect masters who were instrumental in bringing forth his godhood. Sai Baba of Shirdi, all his life was very clear. Focus on my divinity, not on my religion. But we, even till date, want to fucking figure out Hindu tha ke Muslim tha. Why? Because we are entrapped in our own small world of ego. Spirituality is beyond religion. Our entry into heaven is not by the card, Aadhaar card of a religion. It is, have you been a decent human being or not? When Baba was about to take Samadhi, one day in the evening, he tore all his clothes. And he said, after all these decades, you all are yet stuck to my religion. One day he said, these shopkeepers are troubling me. What does he mean by shopkeepers? Those people who only want things from him. They don't love him for who he is. They love him for what he can give. So he said, now I want to go. These shopkeepers are troubling me. I don't think mankind will ever get beyond his small ego. Where karma is concerned, it doesn't matter whether you believe in karma or not. It is there. It is there. When people talk about astrology and they say planets are placed in certain houses, I believe your planets are placed in certain houses dictated by what your karmic blueprint is, not vice versa. It's not your planets that dictate your karma, it's your karma that dictates your planets. You know, I was seeing a very old Ramayana a few years back. Very, very poor quality production. Everything was really sad. And I remember this astrologer comes to Sita Ma's father and says, what are you doing? Why are you getting your daughter married to him? So Sita Ma's father says, what nonsense are you talking about? It is clear, he is Vishnu Avatar. So the astrologer says, yes, I agree, he is Vishnu Avatar, but he has got a very bad marriage line. The house of his marriage is very bad. Your daughter will suffer. What I'm trying to say is, karma is something that we can only contemplate about. philosophize, theory, create a theory about it. It is an elusive thing. We don't know. But what we do know is we have our free will of how to go through each moment of our life. And that is most important. Not whether karma exists or why karma or why am I getting a beating. No. How are we going through our life? With dignity, with courage, with calmness, or with bitterness, negativity, playing the victim? We have to decide that. That karma will not decide. That you and I will decide.
Thank you, Ruzbeh. That was awesome. I've written down the 6 steps, and then I'm going to ask you for your closing words. The first is connect, remembrance throughout the day, gratitude, giving your very best. Step 4, never wrestle with a pig. I love this line. I wrote it down exactly as it was. Never slander or gossip. And step number 6, never react. And I think most of us tend to be very much in a reactive mode and an aggressive mode. So it was a good reminder. Any closing thoughts you have for us as we end the session for tonight?
Yeah. Try and spread light rather than darkness. There is anyway a lot of darkness. Try and spread a little light, a little laughter, a little kindness. Forget spirituality. Forget all that. Forget karma. You have a little with you. Take a little out of that little and help somebody. If you can't lift somebody up, at least don't put that person down. Eventually, we are all going to meet our master. I think it would be nice if we could look at our master and say, I tried, I did my best. And I think that answer, that statement will be good enough for the master. That's all. That's all.
Thank you, Ruzbeh. Thank you. I think a lot of people are very overwhelmed. So thank you for sharing your time with us. And I think that message, at least let's try to spread some light and at least not bring others down. I think it's a great message. And thank you so much for being with us on Sipping Thoughts.